Hey guys, welcome back to Outsourcing Angel channel, and today I've got a special episode where a client of mine who actually lives in Sydney, not far from me, I invited her over to do actually to do some content with my new company, Dawn Media Productions. But I thought this is a great opportunity to actually ask her about her experience using our new service. So recently we launched something called Systemize and Scale Up. I just wanted to share with our audience, I guess, what was your experience like, and I guess even prior to that, like, why did you decide to come to Outsourcing Angel to get a VA in the first place?
The idea to get a VA has always been very appealing to me. As you know, like that whole digital life is where the end goal, to work remotely from anywhere. So the idea of having staff in an office is not appealing to me. Connie is a really good friend of mine, which I understand is a client of yours and has been for many years. We went out to coffee one day and she said to me, I've had my VA for 8 years. And I said, who did you go through? She said, we went through Outsourcing Angel. And I was like, I know Lynn. All right, I'm going to reach out to Lynn, and if I can be honest, I didn't even look anywhere else because I know Connie, I know Aurelius, I know their operation. I understand how they run it, so I figure if it's good enough for them,
thank God,
it's good enough for me, little of me. And I just started the process.
So tell us more about your business. Like, what is it? What does it do?
So we offer social media management, content creation, and photography services.
Great. Okay, so then when you came to us, you obviously needed a virtual assistant, but what made you decide to explore our SNS service? Well,
this is the fun part, because I went in thinking I wanted an apple and I came out and I bought an orange. Well, they sold me on like 5 oranges, really. So I think that was the most refreshing part, because I didn't feel like they were, your team were selling me just a product. It was like, this is the whole solution, this is what you need actually, and before we give you this, you actually need to have this all done first. And I was like, I wish I had the time to do that, and whilst I probably could, but it would take me maybe a year to do it, whereas your guys had it done like that. So it was really appealing when they mapped out the process of what they were going to do, what I needed to do as well. These are your gaps in your business. And this is how you need to sort of complete this gap before we can start this journey. That was really nice, because I always knew I needed to do that, but I guess we procrastinate and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty is when I hired Richard, he was an ex-management consultant at KPMG. I hired him because he had experience with outsourcing and he was a smart guy. I actually had no idea what he was going to do for my business or how it's going to transform, because like I said, I thought I wanted an apple and I didn't know that I needed something else. So when he came in, he started going, oh my God, why are you still using Excel? Why are you still using Skype? And like everything was so manual, and it was open for a lot of repetition, takes longer to do, and also errors. And so then he basically transformed our business with automating with systems and then systemizing. And then when it comes, I've always had the people, but it's just, you can put in the people in the wrong system and it's just not efficient. So that was why we decided to do it for clients. What were some of the key things that you started working on to develop?
Basic things like getting my emails in the right hosting. So I had my email in one, and then I had my Dropbox here, and they were like, no, we need to like get you all into like, say, Google Drive. Everything has to be Google so we can access it, so everyone can access it. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah, centralizing your information.
So just getting that done for me, and then whenever I had an idea, I was like, okay, because they had planted this is what you need, and so my mind would spin to here, and whenever I came back to them, I said, can we do this? They were like, yeah, we can do it, and it was like done.
So you started to have ideas how you would like your business to run, like things you can automate, or things that you're like, can it do that? And is that when the team can answer that?
And I knew I was doing this, but when someone actually tells you to your face, it's a good realization that, I really need to fix this. I was doing a lot of things ad hoc. And so they created these systems for me. And maybe if we fast forward a bit, they taught that system to the VA. So that just like sold me on everything, because it was like, just took all the guesswork out of it.
Yeah, and you're so smart at outsourcing it all, because we've spoken before where people would they know they need something, but then they're scared about spending because they think, well, if I do it, it'll be faster, or it will be, I don't know. They think there's, it's better that way. But you know, when you get the expert to do, you just save so much time, and you get,
and it's done better. And Maria now, for me, can do her skill sets are far beyond my technical skill sets. And whatever idea I have, I give her. She then like expands it and says, "Oh, I can do this and this and this." I'm like, amazing. Yes, so you do that, you know, and like my task turns into like this big project for her, which I think is really simple to do, but she's got so many layers of it that I would never have thought of.
So what are some of the softwares or tools that you started to implement into your business now?
So Richard and Katie put in Asana for us, so we communicate.
So this is a project management tool?
Yes, and all the steps that they had created, the system that they had created for each job or task is all in there. So Maria can just log in and be like, okay, I need to do this, and then after that I do this, you know. So it's really clear and simple, and without even me having to go back to her and say, did you do that yet? I can see, she'll tick it if it's done or not. Yeah, so that's probably one. All the Google stuff, the Google Forms, the Google Drive, all that, like that's just so where have I been? It was so easy to use. So that's been very helpful for me. Metrical, we all know Plannerly later and stuff like that in terms of content scheduling. Katie really understood my needs in terms of what I needed for a content planner, and she came to me with Metrical. I'd never heard of it. But when Maria started playing with it, she said, "Jen, I'm loving this. Like, I've never used this before, but it's got so many features in it that the others don't have." So that was great too.
Great. So your virtual assistant, what did you hire her for? What are the typical tasks that she
I hired her for everything that I'm not good at. So she has good design skills. She is highly organized. Whilst I am organized to a certain degree, I'm not your dot every I and cross every T person. You know, I'm still human, but she's not. she's not human. You know, I still have sort of gaps in things that I do, but when I looked at her resume, it certainly had all her strengths were my weaknesses, and that's what I needed. I didn't need someone that was good at what I was doing. Yeah.
And so what is it like, has it been like working with someone remotely? Because I know you've used to run a restaurant and everything's very local, physical, and now it's remote, and what's the difference? How do you feel?
I have a lot of trust in my staff and my team, and I always have. So I think having that sort of attribute helps.
An attitude already.
Yeah, I think that helps. She checks in with me every morning, and even if it's past the time that she's meant to work, sometimes she's still sending me stuff, you know.
And you're wanting her to go home. It's like, stop working.
And I'm like, you don't need to. And she's like, oh, no, I started late today, so I'm going to do this stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm really easy, really flexible, but she's very transparent in how she works. And I think she understands that needs to be when you work remotely, because there's not someone there watching you.
It's such a great attitude to have, because I think the moment you already distrust, like how am I supposed to know if they're working or not, and you know, having that eye on them, I think that creates anxiety for anyone to work in, and then that they won't be able to thrive.
But I think when you work in that remote space, you need to understand that they don't need to physically be there. Like the results will show. It's simple as
exactly
that.
The
results will show whether or not you've done the work. And you know what? If you can finish it in an hour and not 2, great. Like, that shouldn't be a penalty.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love your attitude. So now, what does that free you up to do now? As in, what's your focus in the business?
My focus now is lead generation. So with my business at the moment, a lot of it is referral based. So what I am trying to work on is a bit more generating organic leads, and Maria's really good at doing that. So we have spoken about how to do that, and also email marketing and LinkedIn as well. She's very proficient in that. So they're areas that I really do want to expand into, because there's no way that I would have known how to, or even had the time to research and start that. Yeah.
So what would you say that now that you've kind of also purchased the SNS package with the VA, like what would life had looked like if you just had the VA? Like if you just went straight to hiring a staff member?
I think it would have been very choppy in terms of her not knowing what I wanted, me not knowing what they could do, me not realizing the weaknesses in my business, because that was already done for me. Bringing in the VA, I think, just made it easier.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because then they already knew that what the system was. Whereas for me, I didn't even really know what my system was. I knew it here,
Yes.
but there was no physical manual to say this is how we do this. So yeah.
Yeah. So this is a program where we automate, systemize, and then even get the VA, but train them up so that they get a good start at the beginning. You don't have to do anything at all.
No, it felt like she had already been with me for 2 or 3 weeks when she started on the first day, because she'd already been given all the background info on what I did, how I did it, what they had changed, what Richard and his team had changed, what they had implemented, all those things. She was already well versed in when she came to me.
Well, thank you so much for being such a wonderful client. I guess last message for the audience, if someone's thinking, should I get a VA? What would your answer be?
Most definitely. I just came back from a 2-week holiday, as you know, and a few people that I'd spoken to were like, it looked like you were working all the time. And I can tell you, I wasn't. You know, I'd check in with her. What are you doing today? Can you work on this today? She'd be like, yep, and it was done. And then, you know, barely an hour on my phone or on my laptop. And I knew
You've duplicated yourself, basically that.
Yeah, and I didn't stress. I came back to sales. You know, I had sales for my e-com business, so all these orders that we got to pack when we got home, which is great too. So, you know, it's like a cleaner. We can all clean.
Yes.
We can all clean the house, but our time is better spent elsewhere. And our time is better spent on income producing activities. And I think that's where the VA will help us.
Yeah, and apart from time and money, it's even happiness. I feel so much happier and have more energy, right? When the cleaner comes in clean or when a VA helps.
We normally leave the house when the cleaner comes, and you come back and you're like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Feels so good.
Feels so good.
That feeling you can never get anywhere. So thank you so much for watching. Well, let us know if you have any questions in the comments below, but otherwise we'll see you again in the next episode.